we gotta.
Lisa, you'll be sharing it to Breaking the Silence?
Yes, I will right now.
I'll use that link.
Okay, we are live on Facebook, and we are live on. We're recording now. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. Today we have the phenomenal McDowell Brothers. They are coming to give great information and tell their story. We want to say thank you guys for coming, as well as thank you for everybody else that has came tonight to support the McDowell Brothers flight. I would like to, before we get to the actual order of business, I would like to speak on Dr. Carmen Johnson's story. We are still pushing that petition, trying to get as many signatures and shares as possible. Again, we do not ask that anybody donate anything at this time. We just ask that you go on the petition, sign it, and share it. It is going to say or ask that you donate some funds or share. Choose the or share and don't worry about the funds, because the funds do not go to Dr. Carmen Johnson. So please understand that we need your support. We need your help. If anyone does not know where the petition is located, you can go on my page. This is James Jones, or you can go on Lisa Riley's page or Breaking Silence. I'm not sure who else has it, but I believe Maurice Clifton with Sale Mississippi. Thank you, Ms. Lopez. You know, I definitely thank everybody that does have it. But we do urge and ask that everyone please support this plight. Not doing so will baffle me, because any plight that comes before me, I support. I sign it and share it. And because of that, I may be wrong for thinking people would do the same thing that I would do, but I'm requesting that you do that. Outside of that, I want to acknowledge and introduce Lisa Riley from Breaking Silence and the Reinvention Center. You have Maurice Clifton from the Reinvention Center and Sale Mississippi. Two phenomenal people. I couldn't do it without you. And I just thank the creator for everyone that's on this platform. With this being said, I'm going to allow Mr. Clifton to introduce himself, and then we're going to pass it on to Lisa, let her introduce herself, and then we're going to start with the McDowell Brothers.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? I'm Maurice Clifton. Inside they call me Mississippi. A lot of my friends still call me Mississippi, because I'm from Mississippi. But I'm founder and CEO of Sale with Mississippi. It stands for Mississippi's Advocacy Initiative and Leadership. And what it does is I help people who come out of prison re-enter society. And I also try to deal with children of incarcerated parents, and and advocate for people. I do a lot of community work here in Mississippi, in my hometown, just to ensure that I give back. I served 23 years of incarceration in the federal system. James and I, crossed paths, and we walked and talked at work, the track, recreation, everywhere we could, about just doing things and giving back. And here we are today. So I'm glad to have each and every one of you here. We thank you all for being here. Lisa.
Okay, I'm Lisa Riley from Breaking Silence in the Reinvention Center. And, I want to start out by saying that this panel, the Growth Hour, is phenomenal. It has changed my life, and I know it's going to change a lot of other people's lives. It was the creator, God, whatever word you want to use, that I met Caesar McDowell. And Caesar McDowell and Mitch McDowell from unitethepeople.org are amazing, amazing people. I don't want to tell much of their story, but I just want to say how grateful I am that they were put in my path and to educate us on some things to put out there. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to the McDowells.
All right, how's everyone doing?
You got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick.
Right. So I guess I'll start by telling everyone a little bit about what we are and what we do. We have a nonprofit organization, unitethepeople.org, that promotes social justice in the United States, as well as provides affordable legal services to the community. We do a lot of low cost post conviction cases. We do criminal cases. We do a lot. We do a lot in the community. We do outreach programs for the homeless. We, as a matter of fact, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were in Compton, California, at the VFW, passing out care packages to the homeless veterans, as well as the ones that weren't homeless, but just disadvantaged. There was a toy drive as well there in Compton at the VFW. We, due to COVID-19, we had planned an event in Long Beach, but due to the new state rules, we couldn't have any type of gathering. So we did have half the staff come in, and we still put together the care packages for the homeless. And we went actually just driving around to all of the homeless people. We delivered to them, to the tents and all of that.
Right. And now, if you don't mind me just pausing there for a second, I appreciate all that you're doing. And even though you're in California, I truly believe that you can help, and with funding in due time, you will help other states. Can you tell us a little bit about how this even started?
Sure. Well, actually, how it started from my prison cell. I was one of the guys with the cell phone that you weren't supposed to have, but I did have one. And I would be seeing a lot of the, Black and Hispanic kids being shot and killed by the police across the whole country. And just watching the reaction from the people, with all the rioting and the rallying, people were touched by it, people were moved by it. But I felt as if there was no platform for the people to address it. We riot, we rally,
Hold on, talking.
and then it's over with. And a week later, the district attorney's office would release, oh, it was a justifiable killing. And, something else is in the news and the media, and we'd go from there. But what made me want to start, or made us want to start the organization, was that, right? So what we did was, I actually built our first website, the WordPress website. I built it right there in my prison cell on my cell phone. I filed our articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State right there from my prison cell in San Quentin State Prison. I put out an Indeed for volunteers. We brought in volunteers to help us get started. And what we ended up doing, the very first project Unite the People had, was the People's Fair Sentencing and Public Safety Act of 2018. And what that was a nonviolent 3-strike initiative. And we were moving that to the ballot in 2018 when Prop 57 passed. Now, a lot of people on here may not be familiar with Prop 57. It was a nonviolent 3-striker proposition that was it was passed here in California overwhelmingly, right? And what that is, what it was a proposition that says the guys that had nonviolent 3-strike cases, would not have to, they would have a chance to be released. They'd have a chance to have a hearing for early release. But what happened was Governor Brown, before he left office, is when that proposition passed. Governor Brown is the one that had his office draft that proposition. And after it passed, everyone was ecstatic. My family, my brothers, everybody was ecstatic. And what ended up happening was there was a sentence in that proposition that said they were leaving the discretion of who gets released to CDCR, so that CDCR is the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. And so what ended up happening was they were supposed to be leaving the discretion from that proposition so that no violent guys got released, right? You may have had a nonviolent crime, but let's say you were in prison going crazy. So that's what that was about, with that line of leaving it to their discretion. But what ended up happening with CDCR was they decided they were not going to release anyone. They said the governor left it to their discretion. The prison secretary, Scott Kernan, actually came to San Quentin State Prison himself. It made an announcement. We had like I don't want to say a town hall. They came in, we all sat in the church, and they made their announcement like, hey, listen, the governor left it up to our discretion, and we're not going to release any one of you guys. Every last one of you guys are staying in prison. And that was just insane to me. That was unacceptable, you know. So what we did was we put together our own initiative to change that. And we didn't make it to the ballot. What happened was the Secretary of State made an announcement that they had too many initiatives. If you didn't already have your signatures in and verified, then you were not allowed to submit your initiative. So that was 2018. And in 2018, when that happened, one of the guys that we had brought on then as the president of the organization was a close friend of mine, a guy named Tom Leversky. And he was a criminal defense lawyer in Los Angeles for about 30 years. I known him about 20-something years. You know, at that time, he was a really good guy. And we brought him on as president. So a lot of people seeing that this new nonprofit coming out has the criminal defense lawyer as president. And one day, once CDC made the announcement that they were not going to release any of us, we just got tons and tons of emails from people asking for our help. There was mothers needing help for their children, and wives, you know, with at home with, you know, just the kids, no financial support from their husband. They just contacted and I mean, it was some really, really, really sad stories, besides the fact that I should have been released on that proposition. It wasn't just about me. It was a lot of other people. I mean, once they contacted us and asked us for legal help to help get their loved ones out,
Right.
we actually did. There were guys that were there with me when we first started the legal services that we helped, that I watched to go home. There was guys right on my tier, that my neighbors, they didn't know it was me. Nobody knew it was me. Mitch was the face of the organization. Mitch did a lot of the work on the outside to make the organization happen. And so, I mean, even though it wasn't me, it still feel good seeing that, hey, look, we actually helped these guys get resentenced and go home.
Hey, let's tell them real quick. But the difference between just a law corporation that was started is, if somebody wants a writ of habeas corpus, 1170, whatever it is, these attorneys out here are pretty much running through them with their prices. It's not that. So it's not that we're just out here to assist with that. We're also to help the community. We lowered the prices for them. Go ahead, tell them.
Right. So what we did was we wanted to make, you know, one thing that and it goes back to my childhood, but my father used to always say, let me hold 100,000 till I can see further, or something like that. And I
never saw further.
But what happened was I just picked it up as a habit. I used to walk around and say, hey man, hey, let me hold 100,000 till I can see further. And a lot of the guys in the prison, everybody's first response for the most part would be, man, if I had $100,000, I would have me a lawyer and I wouldn't be here. You know, the way these people sentenced me, man, was all wrong. So when we started this organization and all the people started contacting us, when we started the legal service department, what we wanted to do was we wanted to make it affordable for everyone. Like, I don't know if you guys know the prices of post-conviction work here in California. They're outrageous, right? And someone just made a comment on here, which is absolutely true. 9 out of 10 lawyers here in California know zero about post-conviction work, but they will take your money. they will take your money in a heartbeat, because post-conviction work here in California starts around $15,000. Right. You know,
Right.
so what we do, we're doing writs of habeas corpus. Your average writ of habeas corpus here in California is between $12,000 and $25,000 at any other law office. Here at Unite the People, what happens is we do that same thing with great representation
And with lawyers that care.
for about 3 to 4 times less.
Right.
We'll do that for somewhere around $4,000. You have the request for resentencing, and I know I'm talking long, but I want to educate everybody on what we do. You
Yeah.
have the request for resentencing. That's a form of 1170, the 1170 D1 that just passed, where you can now petition the district attorney's office for resentencing if you have enhancements or you were disproportionately sentenced. Here in California, the average fee for that right now is between $12,000 and $15,000.
Wow.
We do that for $2,900.
Yeah. Well, I love lots about you guys, which, I've had the pleasure of talking to you for a few days. I'm loving the fact that not only are you in prison, but now you're building something to help not only yourself, but a community. And I'm loving that. And I'm loving, Mitch, the fact that you are the backbone. And when I say that you're
He's
out
the
there.
backbone. He's the
Yeah, he's the
look
backbone.
how much bigger he is than me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. But yeah,
Was that a
I think it's
that was a fat joke.
that was a fact joke. No. Yeah. But does anyone on the panel have any questions for him before? I don't want to just keep talking and no? Okay, because I can keep talking.
Well, I don't have any
I have
questions.
a question, if you don't mind.
Okay, see, I knew it was there.
My question is, I know at this time that y'all have established all of this in the state of California. At some point, do you plan to at least partner with some other organizations in order to have this spread out over the United States, opposed to just in one area? Or do you plan to just try to get it all together in California?
I'm glad you asked that question. There's a 2-part answer to that. Number one, we will collaborate with any organization doing anything for people who are incarcerated, anything positive in the community. We will always partner. We're not one of the organizations, which we have a lot of here in California. I won't name any names, but there's a lot of organizations that, and see, funding is something here. We have totally been never funded. We funded this whole thing out of our own pocket. You and Sippy might understand this, and I'm going to say this. I hustled real hard myself where I was to make this happen. Every dollar I made, every nickel I made, I put into Unite the People so that we can help the people. Mitch put in everything. I mean, literally, I don't want to put his business out there, but Mitch put in his entire life savings into starting this organization. But that's the answer to the first part. So yeah, we'd always collaborate, but our plan, our goal for Unite the People, we want to open 2 Unite the Peoples in every single state in the United States. We're currently right now, we're working on opening a Philadelphia office right now. And that happened because a guy came to us. They really like what we do and they wanted it in Philadelphia. The guy is actually one of the main guys. His name is Todd Perry. You may know of him, you may not. He's a A&R guy in the music business, but he signs a lot of top talent. And he's from Philly and he really wanted it in Philly. So he's helping to raise the funding to get us open in Philly. And we're open to helping in any state, man. And we're going to eventually grow to get there, whether people decide to come aboard and get involved and help raise funding. I mean, because that's what it's about, right? Funding is the key. A lot of people think like, oh, you should just come here and help. It's impossible to just come here and help. because helping costs money, and that's just what it is. That's the truth. So we have to raise funding for anywhere that we plan on going next, but we definitely in due time we plan on expanding to every state in the United States.
Thank you for your answer. I would like to speak on something while we all on here. Definitely for any organization, and it seems like that a lot of people that have started it, myself, yourself, Miss Maurice, and other organizations that have started, we all started out with our own funding. And we are new to this because we lived a different type of lifestyle at one point, but we know this is our passion, and so we're pursuing it. What I would like to see happen is that we cooperate on grant writers or any type of funding or stuff like that there to where we can help felicitate everything that we are trying to do. I would definitely love to learn more about what you do and bring it to the Reinvention Center in Washington, D.C. I would like to have you gentlemen at some point, whenever this COVID pandemic situation goes over or gets better, come out here, or I come out there and we do something together. I am a person that believes that it's strength in numbers. I literally believe that. So I feel that us doing it individually, what we will not accomplish the same amount if we were to do it collectively. So I definitely thank you for everything that you're doing. And I support anything you're doing, and because of that, I want everybody else to do it. But people need to know more about your organization other than this. So how can they, or where can they go to get information on your organization?
Well, go ahead, brother.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You can go to our website, which is unitethepeople.org. You can go to our Facebook page, Unite the People, what is it, USA? Unite the People USA. You can go to Instagram, Unite the People USA. And what we just started is going to be our own radio show for people to call in, ask questions all over this country, other countries, and just get a big bang on what's needed for the people. It is what's it coming on,
Yeah.
Can we get that out now or no?
Sure. It's 357 radio.
Yeah. But it's gonna be Unite the People radio show, and that's what we start next Wednesday. And you could, but always go to our website, unitethepeople.org. Our telephone number is 888-245-9393, and call us. Just reach out.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to mention, and that was Tesla calling, was right now we're working with Tesla here in California. There's a pilot program that they started, and we are working with them. What they're doing, and this happened after the George Floyd thing, so I think it was motivated in that way, but it's beautiful. There's a guy named Dan Wool that works with Tesla, who I met coming into San Quentin State Prison. I don't know if you guys watched the movie Cue Ball, but there's a movie Cue Ball that was on Netflix, like in the top 10 trending for about almost probably 6 months. And it was about the Golden State Warriors having a basketball program that comes into San Quentin and played against the San Quentin Warriors, right? It's their team there. And I met this guy named Dan Wool who works for Tesla. And after meeting him and him getting to know a lot of the guys in prison, he saw that a lot of guys in prison, we think of the movies, we think guy in prison. You think of the big buff guy with braids and he's crazy. But that's not what prison's really like no more. Prison now, there's so many people that are incarcerated in California prison. Man, you find the average dude, when your neighbor, the guy on your street, you haven't seen him for a while, he might be in prison, right? So the guy came there, he sees this, and he reaches out to the organization and says, hey, look, Tesla is starting a pilot program. They want to take guys who are incarcerated coming home within the next 6 months. There's going to be an 18-month program where they train the guys, and it's full pay and benefits during the training. And it's not training for a regular job, it's training for an executive level job. And Unite the People is the organization. We do the vetting of the guys coming out of the prisons. Now, personally, I sent them 20 guys that I knew. And that's what they started the program with. And it's just started. But that's something that we're going to be working on here in California. And we may be able to do that throughout the United States. We have had meetings with them. And we may be able to spread that sooner than later throughout the United States to where people can contact us. And if there's something they're interested in, we'll take their information, we'll talk to them. And it might be a situation where we can forward them to the Tesla guys and get them into the program.
Go ahead, Dr. Carmen, unmute yourself and speak.
How you guys doing? It's a blessing to meet you both. I got to make one comment and then I have a question. So my comment is, like Mr. Jones said, I would love to see something like this come to the Washington, D.C. area, the DMV. And I, of course, myself went through the injustice system for 3 years in a prison camp. I consider myself as an expert in post-conviction and participatory defense and things of that nature. So with Mr. Jones, I would also like to speak with you guys. That's the first thing, because post-conviction is absolutely needed. As so many people think after sentencing, that's it. There's nothing else they can do and it's over with. When in actuality, that's not true. It's things that can be done, it's motions that can be filed. Number two, me going through this system, what I've noticed is, and I'm just saying my personal opinion, is not that many programs like this for women. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is more and more women that are being arrested and that are going to jail and prisons and cages and camps that need assistance as well. So is your program just for men, or do you also work with women as well? Thank you.
Not at all. It's not just for men.
That
wouldn't even make sense to us. I think the issue, I'm gonna jump in. I think the issue is, and I used to own bail bonds companies, so I know a little bit about, I don't know, maybe I'm off track here, but when a man goes to jail, a woman fights like hell to get her guy out of jail, get her guy out of the situation. But it seemed to me more so when a woman goes to jail, she just seemed to be on her own. You know what I'm saying? The guys don't back their women like women back their men. So I would love, you just brought, I'm not even gonna say it, but you put something in my head right now, because there's a lot of that. And that just reminded me of back in my bail bonds days when I used to be a bail bondsman.
And to add to that, we have women clients that we help all the time. They call, it's just the same as a man to us. It's about post-conviction. It's not about gender. It's about, were you disproportionately sentenced? Is there anything illegal done in your case where we might be able to file a writ of habeas corpus? Did you get illegally sentenced? There might be People versus Flag, People versus Rodriguez. There's all kinds of things for illegal sentencing or whatever it may be, but we definitely help the women in the women prisons as well, for sure.
Absolutely. Stephanie, did you have a question? She was waving. I see.
I'm trying to unmute. Hi,
Okay,
guys.
yeah.
I just first want to say thank you guys 100% for doing this. We need you guys, people like you out here. I'm a mother fighting for a daughter that has nobody else but me and all of you. It's been a long, hard haul. I have an appointment with you guys Wednesday, I believe. But I did have a question for you guys. Like, where do you start if there's so much unjust? Like, who do you turn to?
Right there.
If you've turned.
What do you mean, where do we start? You mean as the client, or where do we start with the case?
Like, where Like, where do we start as a client for a king to?
Well, what you do is you would contact us. Let's say you wanted to get in touch with us like you did.
Right.
I'm actually the individual that responded to you.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. I went on there and I saw you on social media. That's where you contacted us. And thank you. And if I ever see anything, now we have a staff that work there, but I go on our social media as well.
mhm.
And if I ever see anyone that's asking for our assistance, the first thing I do is getting get you set up with us. Now, before we do any asking for discovery or transcripts or anything like that, what we do is we have you call us and you receive a free consultation, a 30-minute consultation, which is really like 45 minutes to an hour, but it doesn't matter. We want to find out what your situation is. Now, once you inform us of what your individual case is, then what we'll do is we'll let you know, okay, listen, we want to get you moved forward with the legal team. If we have to request discovery, we will. If we need to show you how to contact the clerks to get your transcripts, if he or she doesn't already have them, we'll do that as well. And once we receive what we need, then we go ahead and we have the attorneys, they review the cases. There's a whole legal team there. We're not lawyers, right? You know, we always tell people this, you know, people ask us, you know, hey, what about this or what about that? I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy that saw a need for the people and try to make it happen. Now, what we do is we'll get you off to the legal team. They'll go over the case with you. They'll go over everything. They'll let you know what's needed, whether it's a writ of habeas corpus, an appeal, whatever it may be, a request for resentencing. Right now we have, and I'm not about bragging, but right now we have a ton of guys that just received court dates for resentencing just last week. Which is awesome. The guy George Gascon, the new DA in California and in Los Angeles, is great. They really, really, really understand how the community got those disproportionate sentencings or gang enhancements or gun enhancements, whatever it may be. And so yeah, you know, that's how you would start off contacting us.
I want to say something. I want to stress this to you. I understand that you provided your contact information, but please, if Lisa, you have it, somebody please post it, because what you're doing is out, just out of this world. So we want people to be able to know how to contact you and do different things. So we are, as you know, we are live, on Facebook and other platforms. So we want to get the word out. You're feeling a need, you're feeling a void, and there's a lot of people that need your services but may not know how to contact you. If I understand that you are on a phone, but if possible, you can type it in chat, or I definitely will be friending you, so you can put it. You can just do a post, or we can just do a post on Facebook for everybody to be able to see and go from there. I just want to be able to get your information out. That's what that is. Go ahead, sir.
If you want Mr. McDowell, hit in the comments and put your email so everyone on this panel, your email or your phone number can have that. I will make sure I make a post with your website information for sure, and I'll share whatever. I do know that Mr. McDowell is looking for someone that can write a really great GoFundMe. So that can get pushed out there, because that is the part of it, getting them this scattered to other states, is the funding. And we all understand that for sure.
Can I say something there?
Go ahead.
One, if you want to contact us, you can always you can get straight to me at 888-245-9393. My desk is extension 101. If I don't answer, you can always leave a message and I call you back immediately within 24 hours, no matter what. Our office hours are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday.
Okay,
And
what, I'm sorry, could you tell them the time zone?
oh, we're Pacific Standard Time. We do federal cases as well as state cases. See, state cases, you are here in California.
Okay.
But a federal case, your lawyer must be registered with the federal courts, which is, it's, I don't want to say easy, but which happens, right? So we absolutely do federal cases as well as state cases here in California. We are opening the Philadelphia office. That's going to happen. One thing I wanted to touch on is what Ms. Riley was talking about was funding, right? We are looking to, there's a lot of people that contact us here in California, even though we have the reduced fees, they can't afford it. And there's been times, and just, you know, again, just being honest, there's been times that I've given up my whole paycheck, and my paycheck is very small, but I've given up my paycheck to help families, and I figured I ate soups for 20 years, so I can eat some sandwiches and make it to my next paycheck, right? But so that these people can get help, they contact us and they don't have money. So raising money to be able to help people, we don't offer pro bono services. Our services are what's called in the industry low bono, but we want to be able to help more people. And then we want to be able to, like Dr. Johnson was saying, DC, that's my dream. Just my dream. Everybody see the distinguished gentleman, right? I want to get in there, but I want to start dealing with politics. I would, if we opened the office in DC, I'd probably end up living there because I really, 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 really want to be in DC really bad. We want to expand these services throughout the whole United States. And the way we envision it is, it doesn't matter what your problem is. It doesn't have to be post-conviction. It might be an LGBT issue. It might be you have potholes and the government won't come take care of it. You're trying to call your city, they won't take care of it. We want to be the platform where you can say, okay, you ain't gonna do it? Oh, we're gonna call Unite the People. And when you say Unite the People, they know like, uh-oh, here comes them guys. It's lawyers, it's politicians. We have a lot of political backing here in California. I did want to discuss one thing that we did. We got every single, and I'm going to say this again, we got every single person incarcerated in California's prison system 3 to 4 months off their prison sentence. We worked with Senator Nancy Skinner. If you go to our website and you go to our homepage, you'll see a letter from Nancy Skinner, Senator Nancy Skinner, excuse me, thanking us for the work that we did with their office and the governor on the California Budget Act of 2020, where we got everyone incarcerated 3 months off of their sentence due to COVID-19. All the prisons are locked down, so they're not allowed to do rehabilitation programs. It's not their fault. So if it's not their fault, let's give them credit for that. And, it was only 3 months because we figured COVID was over. It was in the very beginning. We thought COVID was going to come and pass. Nobody knew COVID would still be around. We're working with them now on trying to get more credit off. Our proposal for time off, we actually had a 4 to 5 point program, but we were looking for years off, and they kind of shut us down on that. But they
3 months is a long time if you're in there.
Yeah. So
yes,
but 3 months is still 3 months.
Yeah, but you can check that out on our homepage.
Right.
We did get that done. That's 107,000 people that we got 3 months off of the sentence.
Well, now that really was going to be my next question, but you answered it already. I heard you say that before, and I love it. Now, but let me ask you this: if someone else, like Sale with Sippy, came to you and Mr. Clifton there and asked you, how did you do that? You know, what was the steps? Are you willing to share that with the other
Ancient
states?
Chinese secret.
No, he's joking. We're absolutely willing to share anything with anybody if it's about
Okay.
helping the people. That's what this is about. But not only will we share that, we will do it. If you have, which other states didn't do that, right?
Mhm.
And that's something that may need to be addressed. There may need to be a proposal drafted. It may need to be submitted to every governor in the United States. We're willing to do it. You
Mhm.
just contact us. Again, my desk is extension 101 at 888-245-9393. And you can leave me a message and I will call you within 24 hours, no matter who you are. And if it's something that you're looking to get done in your state, I will have our legal team draft it and we can get it submitted in your state.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, oh, they're in California, oh, they're going to go to Philadelphia. Let me wait until they get to my state. If there's an issue, make a call, because it's not, oh, we're there, but maybe it's an issue that's strong enough where we might be able to pull a favor or know somebody in your area, or maybe even just assist you through the education of what may need to be, the steps that may need to be taken.
I love that about you guys. I really do. Mr. Clifton, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for them. You know, I don't often disclose it, but you know, since even though I have my own nonprofit, I'm also chaplain at the Mississippi Department of Correction. You know, after getting out, you know, God blessed me to become a chaplain there. So I ministered to guys who are incarcerated. I did my time, 23 years in federal system, but I'm now a chaplain for the state of Mississippi. And I'm also tasked with reentry. I'm the reentry coordinator at MSP at one of the prisons here. So I have to initiate plans, but I would like to get with Sarah Scott, who's on here also. She has what they call the Parchman Project, and she does a lot of things in Mississippi, and where we can try to get that legislation here, you know, for all the guys in the state of Mississippi, where we can present it to the governors and get presented to the commissioner, you know, of the Mississippi Department of Correction, and we can present it to them the same way. Because it's like you said, it's not their fault that they can't take any classes right now because everything is suspended. We got people outside ready to come back in and teach classes, anger management, and you got court mandated classes that they're not able to take because of COVID. And so I think that that's something that I want to immediately get initiated here in Mississippi, you know, as quick as possible. So, you know, when after the call or whatever, we can get together.
Definitely, man. Let's get
Absolutely. Another thing is, just so everyone knows on here, Miss Riley, Lisa, she has my direct line.
Yes, I do.
Feel free to get my direct line from her.
Okay.
And call me, and we'll definitely we'll definitely talk with you about it. One thing that we like to do, as far as that goes, drafting that, we have a guy who's on our advisory board, a guy named Weldon Angelos. You guys might be familiar with him. If you're not, you miss Superman. This guy is the guy that got Harry O pardoned just recently from Donald Trump. Him and Snoop Dogg worked on that. He's on our advisory board. He got the guy Loon. He got the rapper guy Loon from Puffy's camp. He got him.
Philly, New York. Philly, New York.
Weldon is actually he's in Utah. But yeah, he's a formerly incarcerated guy just like us. And he got some outrageous amount of time for a little bit of weed. And Congressman Lee, you know, the really liberal guy, that's one of his closest allies, one of our closest, you know, he's one of us, one of our closest allies in DC. And, you know, he's really liberal, but he goes with what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And and him, Alicia Keys, President Obama worked to get Weldon Angelos out of prison. And since he's been out of prison, he's been working with us. He has his own, it's called the Weldon Project. He has his own organization as well. But we do a lot of work on different campaigns. But anyway, I said that to say this. The plan that we have that we use here, we can use that in any state. We can use that in every state, right? It's just about the push. And somebody, Mr. Jones said something that I tell everyone, right? In our communities, we don't have the money. Let's just be honest, right? We don't have the money. The Blacks, Hispanic communities, the disadvantaged communities, we don't have the money. But the number one thing we do have, and this is what I try to get out to people because it's what makes sense. There's power in numbers. We don't have to be billionaires. We just have to be able to. Politicians don't give a damn about your money unless you're giving it to them. What they care about is a vote, and they care about numbers. So if we, every organization on here, we can all collaborate. We're, the more the merrier. We're all inclusive, but it's power in numbers, man. If you want to make a difference, you want to make a change in your state, let's all get together. Let's make it happen. We'll draft everything. We have the staff, we have the lawyers, and we'll draft whatever is needed, and we'll help you in any state that you're in, and you want to push, let's do it.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And as we have talked on the phone before, I had told you I'm not good at writing GoFundMe's, but I'll push one. So maybe there's someone listening. I see Mr. Jones smiling because to me, he's the expert in writing GoFundMe's. I have to say it. But, anyone interested in helping us put one together, I'm definitely on board for pushing it and doing whatever I can. We want you in Washington, D.C., although I'm here in Ohio, but I want you in Washington, D.C. It's not that far from me.
And Ohio.
In Ohio, yes, yeah. But I have to quit leaving my own state out, but yeah, but we got to come up with some funding. We got to do it. So, which means we all got to pitch in. I see Jennifer is waving at me. So you had a question, Miss Jennifer?
Yes, unmute. There you go.
Oh, you got it. There you go.
Well, I just think it's awesome that the brothers are doing such an awesome job. You did mention that you're doing federal. Me, myself as well, have a federal case with the ACLU against Terminal Island in San Pedro. I would love to collaborate with you guys. And
Oh, you're right here. San Pedro is right behind my house. We're sitting right here. We're sitting by Terminal Island right now.
I'm Jennifer. I'm the one that was on the news. I'm the one that worked with Camilla Harris and Karen Bass and Nanette Diaz-Bergen to get a tour inside of Terminal Island. We did win our case. We won our ACLU case against the 8th Amendment being violated. So you guys are more than welcome to that case for the Southern California ACLU. You guys are more than welcome to the doctor's investigation that we have that'll help you guys with compassionate releases. I also have case files of compassionate releases. We've been very successful at getting people out of Terminal Island. I just got a letter from Camilla Harris on the 7th. We're supposed to collaborate and get together on a reform platform. So I would love to keep you guys
federally or state? Federal?
She can't do state.
Oh.
I don't do state. I'm not really good at state. My dude's in federal.
Okay.
So
No, I was speaking of Kamala Harris. She can only do feds.
I know a lot of people in state, and a lot of people that with the phones in there are the ones that have been helping me out with other folks and that have state issues. But I work closely with Elsie Lee. I don't know if you guys have heard from her with Sisters of Voices. Angela, Renee, and them, they are from We Are Their Voices. So Elsie is in Sacramento. We're the ones that did the protest at the CDCR headquarters in October. So We're doing a lot down here, but we need to start pushing to get that 924C retro. We got a lot of stuff that we need to start pushing. And we've already contacted the Biden's administration and Kevin Ring. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kevin Ring from FAM Foundation. He is the CEO. He's already met with the Biden Foundation and administration, and they're supposed to be talking about reform as well. So I would love, love, love to get you guys in the loop somehow, some way, because we all as advocates need to come together. We need to
Right.
quit. You know what I mean? It's definitely
Yeah.
a systemic problem. It's not only the police brutality and stuff like that. It's the system. It's the whole system.
Well, if you're out here, why don't you come by the office?
The Capitol Hill, there was military people involved in that issue. So it's like we all need to come together, state to state. I got people in New York that I would love to share their information with you guys. But I think as advocates, we do definitely need to come together and be on this.
Definitely. I hate the arguing and the beef between nonprofits. I really hate that.
There's a lot of that now. I don't know if you heard Mitch when he said, if you're here by Terminal Island, why don't you come on by the office and we can sit down and we can talk.
Actually, I live in Southern Cal. I live down in Carlsbad, but I'm with it. I will come. I'm up here now in Anaheim. So I'm with it. So if you guys ever want to make a meeting, if you look on Facebook, my group is COVID-19 Terminal Island. You'll see all my news reports are on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was me. That was me that went ham. You know, they told me, my husband told me that he was in a warehouse with bats. So, oh, girl went ham. I was like, wait a minute. So we did a lawsuit, like I said, with the ACLU for them amendment. So definitely, guys, I'll definitely reach out to you guys and we'll get a meeting going. And I've got Nanette Diaz-Bergen. You guys should know her. The congresswoman out there in San Pedro, and we got her to do a tour in Terminal Island, and she said it was worse than the ICE detention center.
Wow. Right.
Wow. Well, it sounds like the McDowell brothers are going to be busy. You're going to be busy. You got a lot going on. Everybody's coming. Yeah. Now yes. Now I know I had told you guys this was about an hour. I'm not sure where we're at, Mr. Jones.
We're at an hour.
Okay.
No, it's okay.
We're in no hurry. Let's get
out. But when you give me good information, sometimes it feels over past the hour.
I want to respect everybody's time. I know it's, everybody's got something to do.
I see the doctor had her hand raised too.
I did too.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I can only I'm on the phone. But yes, Miss Lopez as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we would love to have you in the DMV, which is the 4th Circuit. And but I want to also personally tell you that the 4th Circuit is so corrupt. And not to mention, I was politically hit by one of the most powerful men in Maryland. Not to mention, subjectively, it was some politicians that put me in there, but it was some politicians that got me out. So it's a double-edged sword here in the DMV, but we have, I got a lot of politicians that's on my speed dial on my phone that I know personally, and we would love to, Mr. Jones and I would love to have you guys come here and partner with us, and I'm looking forward to it. But they cutthroat here.
Hey, you don't know what you just started.
Yeah. I want to respond back to that right there.
That's the type of stuff he loves. I like.
Yeah. If you could possibly, pretty please, contact me, and let's get in contact with those politicians. What we need, see, there's power in numbers, right? When we need to hold these DAs accountable for disproportionately sentencing our loved ones, when any of that is going on, we need to have that back into where they know that okay, when these guys or this organization shows up, they have that political power behind them. So any politician that's willing to listen, I'm willing to talk. Absolutely.
A lot of stuff gets swept under the rug, and they forget they can do what they want to do because it's not out in the masses. So somebody has to lift that rug up and show them what they're doing, because a lot of people get away with pretty much murder. They get away with murder because they know it's not going to hit the news. They control the news. We all saw the Trump movie. You control the media, you control the outlets, and when things leak, you see how big stuff gets.
And let me jump in here and say this one thing real fast so that it can be said. I always try to tell people, we all know what the problem is. We all know. Everybody knows, not just us. The masses know what the problem is, but nobody ever does anything to change it, right? We can say there's power in numbers because there is. But at one point, somebody has to step up and say, you know what? I'll do it.
Yeah. There's no power in numbers when you sleep.
You know what I mean? Somebody has to take that first step. And even since a child, not you, Jennifer, not by yourself, no, Lord. Somebody has to stand up and say they'll handle it. And I don't want to sit around no more waiting for somebody else to do it. Guys like Nipsey Hussle, it would have been awesome if he could have stayed alive. That guy would have did a lot of good work in the communities and throughout the United States, probably globally. But if we could ever just fill half them shoes and take care of the United States, man, that would be awesome. So maybe us and Jennifer.
Okay, now.
And one last thing, I just want to shoot this out while it's on my mind. We can't let other people come between what we do. Because if you look at what Ice Cube did, he tried to do something major. Then the opposing team knows how to flip it to where, okay, let's get all these people against him. Oh, they say this, they say, and now it's just a big cluster, and then nobody wins. It ain't about winning or losing. Nobody wins.
Right. Now I will say, as you're talking, I'm on my phone. I'm sharing your number. Also, Miss Sarah and Mr. Clifton, Dr. Johnson would love for your numbers also. Is it okay to go ahead and send her yours too? Or Miss Sarah, I don't have yours, I apologize. But if you guys could exchange.
You can send us everybody's and you can send everybody ours. Just make sure when you call that 888-245-9393. What number is that? It's 888-245-9393.
Oh,
no, 888-245-9393.
Yeah.
That's the number. At extension 101. If you call extension 101, you get straight to my desk. We handle a lot of people's situations here in California and social justice throughout. But again, we're a small nonprofit. We're a small nonprofit who is not funded at all, zero. We provide affordable legal services to our clients, and that's just enough money to pay the lawyers. Like if you Google our supervising lawyer's name is Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, right. But it's spelled with a Y, not an I. And if you Google his name, it'll tell you in 2017, he was voted one of the most influential, one of the 100 most influential lawyers, period. And the guy, he advocates for homeless people. He advocates for post-conviction, criminal cases that are in court right now.
Damn near any injustice.
Anything that you need assistance with, we do. So if people, we have to pay them, but so we have to charge. but we want to get to the point to where we don't charge. That would be awesome. But as of right now,
People have to eat.
yeah, as of right now, you know, we have a small staff. We pay them. We work hard. So if you contact us, contact me at extension 101 at 888-245-9393.
Say it again.
It's 888-245-9393. Contact
Okay, I
me
think they,
at extension 101. And that way you'll be able to talk to us immediately.
right, right. And the best part, well, not just the best part, but I think one of the good parts is, you know how people feel. You've been in prison, you've experienced a lot, like the situation with COVID, which I love that story. You know, do you mind sharing that story with everyone?
You gonna catch him crying. Go ahead.
Don't know, because you know what, it made me emotional too, but this is real. It really is happening. And this is why I'm sure, I don't want to talk for you, but part of why you fight so hard with trying to get people home, especially because of the COVID.
I'll start it off. There's a lot of injustice that goes on in prison, and we've all heard of it. People, I've never been in prison myself, but we all have heard of the injustices. They make movies about the injustices. It's definitely out there, but 90% of America doesn't believe that it happens. 90% of America doesn't, I mean, well, not 90% because we're 13%, but a large percentage of America doesn't believe that Blacks, Latinos, and not wealthy whites have this issue going on with the police. You know, they don't believe that there's this giant injustice until you have someone that's been incarcerated, or you've had someone that's been pulled over by the police and cursed at and beat up. I mean, the George Floyd, I mean, with the phones, it's out there more. You know, the phones, cell phones are really kicking butt with it, but it's bigger than that. Because once the police get you, you still have to go to court. There's a giant injustice right there. I think the biggest injustice is right there in the court system. Now, once you go through that injustice, they've taken away so much from you. You go to the prison injustice, and now you're just a beat down person to the correctional, to the CDR, to the correctional officers. So my brother right here just knocked down 20 years in prison with a smile on his face. No, he didn't have a smile on his face. And he's knocked down 20 years in prison. We got to the end. We got to the very end. It's over.
Right.
It's over. We went through the parole thing where the people call in. It took 3 hours almost for all the people calling in for him. You know, we really made it happen and we got it. And so it's a day I'm supposed to drive up. I drive up to San Francisco from Los Angeles, which is like a 7-8 hour trip, to go pick him up from prison. I had the cameras out there. We had people, Josh Carson. We had Tony Smith was with me. He drove up. He rode up with me. He slept most of the way, so that really upset me.
Let's get to it, man.
All right. So we get up there, and I'm outside I'm not positive, but San Quentin has 2 gates, one for release, and then they have a back gate. I'm at the front gate. I go and I'm like, I wait first. Then I go up like, hey, I'm here to pick up Caesar McDowell. And you could just tell that something wasn't right. Now I'm gonna let him take it from there. Go ahead, Caesar.
Well, what happened was this, right? We just gonna get to it. Miss Riley already heard it, so she knows it's gonna be hard for me, right? but I'm gonna make it through this and not cry. That's what they're all laughing about. Everybody knows I'm probably gonna have a problem with this. But
Mr. McDowell,
okay,
Mr. McDowell, if you don't mind, please
yeah.
forgive me. But can we do a part 2 for this next week and come back and continue this next week? That'll give you time to prepare. Give you time to prepare.
Oh,
Also, I wanted to say that Miss Lopez has
yes,
a
yeah.
question. She had her hand up for a while. So, but I definitely like to hear that. But we need to do it on the based on time restraints. We need to do it as a part 2.
Oh, I knew I'd go over. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No problem.
It wasn't really so much a question. It was more, I just wanted to tell the McDowells and all of you guys, James Jones, Jennifer, Lisa Riley, all of you guys, thank you so much for being here, because I wouldn't have known anything about the McDowells had it not been for Lisa Riley. No, nothing about Jennifer had it not been for Lisa Riley. And, you know, you guys have all connected me to all of you guys. And I just, you know, I just wanted to make a comment on that, where he said, you know, the low income, you know, had we had the income to hire that attorney, we've been told by multiple attorneys, my daughter would have been out already, you know,
Wow.
but you bring me that $75,000, your daughter will be home already. There's just too much, you know, behind the scenes, and we're dealing with public defenders that are, you know, just telling us,
unconstitutional.
huh?
That's unconstitutional.
Yeah, and we have an appointment. We have our appointment with you guys Wednesday. You guys will, you know, and stuff. And we have Jennifer and everybody standing behind us. So we, you know, we have things coming to us, and you guys, we appreciate you guys helping us. You know, I can't wait to get together with you guys to share with you what has been going on in my daughter's case, because Lisa's been following this for a while and stuff, and there's a lot, and it's ugly.
Yeah.
And you know, we need
What
people
county
like,
was she sentenced out of?
huh?
What county was she sentenced out of?
She's not even sentenced yet. She's
What
held
county
on
is
no
she in?
bail. Huh?
What
She's in
county is she
Tulare
in?
County. Tulare
Tulare?
County.
Okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully, Miss Lopez, you'll be able to come on the part 2, and hopefully, the McDowell brothers will accept our invitation for the part 2.
We always will accept anything that helps the people. Let's do
Okay.
part 2 at 3 in the morning. I don't care. We don't care. I care. No, well,
I
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Whenever you want to do it, let's do it. If it helps the people, man, we're 100% with it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank all of you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Mr. Jones, for giving me this opportunity. And Mr. Clifton also. So thank you. And with that, you want to close, Mr. Jones?
Before you close, let me say this. We want to say hi, Brandon. But we do want to say we appreciate you guys. You know, people that actually do what we do, people that care. There's not a lot of people that care. You know, so everyone, Mr. Jones, Sippy. I'm gonna call you Sippy. I had a silly name Sippy because he was from Mississippi. But I'm gonna call you Sippy. Sippy, brother. I appreciate you, man. Mr. Jones, I appreciate you. Everybody on this call. It has to be a point where we say enough is enough, man. Somebody has to stand up and make a difference. So seeing everybody, I saw the whole list of names, everybody that's on this call, it's a lot of people. And we want to say thank you to you guys. You know, without you guys making the platforms before we even got here, well, it's big. So, you know, just want to say thank you to everyone. And yes, Dr. Johnson, enough is enough, man. Let's do it.
Yes.
I don't know how to save that, Miss Johnson. Dr. Johnson, I just saw your phone number. Please get my number from Miss Riley and call me. You can call me direct.
I think Deputy Lopez sent Dr. Carmen her number.
Yeah.
Dr. Carmen's number. But I will tell you that myself and Dr. Carmen will be in contact with you because you have some great things going. We definitely, you know, appreciate you two gentlemen for what you're doing because, as you said before, what we do is few in between. And you know, I want to leave everybody with a challenge that we can put our heads together and come up with a way that we can all come together and come up with a way to come up with some funding, whether it be fundraisers or whatever it may be. You know, everybody think about that for the next week and next Sunday, 8 o'clock, when we have you come back, if y'all don't mind, which I know you're there.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, we can bounce some ideas around. I definitely appreciate everybody that did come in that has contributed, whether it's listening or speaking. Definitely appreciate you. Ms. Lopez, I wanted to, I'm just going to say this, and then we'll touch more on it next week. Tell your daughter, do not waive anything. Fight right now. You know, go to the law library and be her best lawyer. She is her best lawyer. She knows more of the facts of her case than anybody else. You know, and a lot of people tend to think that, you know, I just want to get to prison to get a better life. I'll take this and I go about my business. Don't let her do that. They're going to try to wear her down by keeping her in the county jail somewhere that's terrible. You know, tell her stay strong, don't give up. And you know, but myself, I spent 4 years and 2 months in the county jail in West Virginia. To be, you know, I'm a doctor coming in West Virginia. I was in 9 different county jails, but I refused to give up. And you know, I want everybody that don't know to know that when you're in pretrial, the judges in the court responsibility is to protect your rights. That's what's supposed to happen. Whether that happens or not, that's something different. They're supposed to protect your rights. Once you get the appellate stage, they feel like their job is to try to uphold that conviction because they feel like your rights was already protected in the district level. Right. You know, so understand the fight is at the district level. You know, this is where you got to give everything you got to set the platform for the appellate level if things don't go okay. You know, so this is why I urge you and I tell you to give your daughter the information that she, one, has to go in that law library. You know, she has to get in there. She has to communicate with her lawyers. You know, go ahead.
They stop her. That's some of the rights that they have completely violated from her. We've even sent in just like 2 weeks ago, I want to say 3 weeks ago, my father sent in a law library, but a law book for her. And they actually held that book from her. They held her mail until we went live in public about it. This is just, when you guys get everything, when you guys get everything, you get to go through the full case and stuff. You guys are going to, a lot of people are disgusted. I mean, there's so many rights being violated by my daughter. I mean, for my daughter, that they've put her on lockdown because we went live. They withhold all her legal mail. They won't let us get a power of attorney. It's ugly. It's just all ugly.
We'll contact us. This is what we do. Contact us. We'll help you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, McDowell Brothers. Go ahead, Lisa.
That town. Because the whole town is in cahoots. They're all family in Tulare.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Police and everything. Yes. So the main thing is try to get that case out of Tulare and get it tried or seen in another jurisdiction, because the jurisdiction that it's in, everybody knows everybody and they're all family. Mm-hmm. They don't like her daughter.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
A change of venue, just so you know, a change of venue is hard because the judge has to grant it, right? But when you have, I want to say this, we do a lot of what's called non-litigational work, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when we just have the organization as a whole. We have a lot of volunteers. We have in the double digits of the thousands of volunteers here in California. And a lot of times, if you go to our Facebook or our social justice or social justice, if you go to our social media pages, you'll see that we have a lot of active followers that respond to a lot of stuff we do, and we can reach out. We can have our legal team reach out to the court system in Tulare and let them know that you're not alone. You have a legal team. You have an organization that has thousands and thousands of followers, and everything they're doing, whether they give you the change of venue or not, everything is going to be under the microscope. And we can everybody.
Well, I hate to interrupt you, Mr. McDowell, but it's gonna cut us off because we're really running out of time. But Miss Lopez will definitely give you a call. I'm sorry, Mr. Clifton.
No, I was just waving at everybody.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate
All
you.
righty. Well,
You
All right,
guys, I
Sippy.
talked to you this week. All right,
All right,
I
guys.
talked
Call
to you
me,
this week.
Sippy.
Yeah,
All
8894. I got it.
all
All
right.
right.
Bye,
Give me the commercial
guys.
again.
Good
Give
night,
me the commercial
everybody.
again.
Thanks for coming.
888-245-9393.
All right.
I got it, Sippy.
One-on-one.
One-on-one.
Okay.
Sippy, I got the number.
All right.
Guys.
All right. Good night.
Everyone have a nice day.